welcome back. It's Emily with Telltale,
And Greg.
and we are going to talk about a little book of poetry, Songs of Innocence and Experience.
By William Blake.
William Blake. So, one of the most popular poems from this, which most people probably know well, is The Tiger.
Yep.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. Is the intro stanza. But this is the work that kind of comes from.
Yeah.
At least the Innocence part. So this is actually a piece of literature that literally the subtitle says, showing the two contrary states of the human soul. So it's the state of innocence and the state of experience. So a lot of it is very childlike at the beginning with the innocent stuff, and then the rest of it is very much geared towards adults or children who have had unfortunate circumstances or who have really hard life questions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because it shows the contrast of the two, but at the same time it's all very deeply poetic. It's very interesting and cool work.
Well, and there's actually some of the poems where what he wrote in Innocence, the characters he wrote about in some of the poems in Innocence, he repeated it in Experience
as like a mirrored
as later
opposite.
In their life.
Yeah. It's really
cool.
Very interesting. And one of the other cool things is that this book originally was all hand illustrated and written.
Yes, and in case you didn't know, William Blake was an illustrator artist. Very, very famous for his illustrations to Dante's Inferno. And brilliant British artist in the 1700s and poet.
Yes.
So with these, it was actually two books. They were published separately originally, and then he combined them.
Because that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Made sense.
But he did all the illustrations for this.
Yes.
And
all the typography, all the words are also hand lettered.
Yeah.
So of course this particular copy puts it all at print so you can read it more easily. Yeah, because
it's a little bit small to read his text on. I think the original was a little larger format.
And it's very beautiful coloration, just stunning work.
Yeah,
very
awesome
detailed.
Watercolors.
Very detailed, very pretty. So it is a lovely work. In general, this particular copy. Tell them a little bit about this particular copy. This is a Folio Society.
This is from the Folio Society I didn't take notes on this one. I think it's the 1970s, if I remember right. I bought this off of a used book site.
Yeah, and this is just a very beautiful book in and of itself. It's got gorgeous gold leafing on the front and on the spine. It comes in this really cute little box. It's a little case.
And most Folio Society books I'm used to are bigger. So when I got this, it was so small. I thought, huh?
Yeah, it's so odd, but it's such a great. I like the size of it too, just from design perspective. It's really a great book because it's good for little hands.
And I like their
hands.
Foil stamp cover. What it is kind of a line art version of the original painting that was on the cover. And I think the original painting is on the inside, if I remember right. I think they reproduced the actual painting that was used for the cover somewhere inside.
It's got to be around.
But I was a little disappointed they didn't use it on the cover because I love the painting. No?
Yes.
There it is. Beautiful, beautiful painting that Blake did for the cover of this. And most editions you look for will use that on the cover. You know, if they're like a trade paperback.
Yes, and it's got this depiction of what I assume is Adam and Eve. It's just a lovely, really great kind of juxtaposition of the two pieces of work that this is incorporating.
Yeah. And Blake was a very religious guy, but this book I was expecting it to be heavily religious, but this book kind of goes beyond that.
Yeah,
it's more about life, not about religion. But it is very spiritual.
It does have some really great spiritual lines. So if you are a religious person, those are very inspiring. Even if you're not, it's just really cool because who doesn't have a moment where they're just like, why God, why? kind of thing. Or why universe, why? Whatever you consider to be the greater being, if you believe there is a greater being at all. We can all relate to that in some form or another. Or why is life the way it is if that's what you consider the big being that's happening? It's life as a conglomerate.
Yeah.
It's very relatable pieces of work. I don't think there's this, even like Tiger, you sit there thinking about it, you just envision this great flaming fiery beast with a
Mm-hmm.
ferocious, like the word pictures and the world building in such small pieces of work is
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. He
Mm-hmm.
just had such a gift for that. And then the illustrations on top of that really kind of driving that home for you
Mm-hmm.
it's just a really great piece of poetry
Mm-hmm.
work for your collection.
Do you have a favorite that stands out?
I am very partial to Tiger
Okay.
just because I had to memorize it as a little kid when I was
Yeah.
in school. We did like little speech class things for English when I
Mm-hmm.
was in like 6th grade. So I
Mm-hmm.
did have to memorize that one, but there was another one. Let me find it. I think it was Night.
You were just open to that.
There it is, yes. I do like the poem Night.
Go ahead and read it. People like your
Okay!
poetry reading.
Okay! Random. It's a little bit of one of his longer pieces, but it's really nice. And I really liked the illustration with it. We should take pictures of that because it's super cool.
Okay.
Night. The sun descending in the west, the evening star does shine. The birds are silent in their nest, and I must seek for mine. The moon, like a flower in heaven's high bower, with silent delight, sits and smiles on the night. Farewell green fields and happy groves, where flocks have took delight, where lambs have nibbled silent moves, the feet of angels bright. Unseen they pour blessing, and joy without ceasing, on each bud and blossom, and each sleeping bosom. They look in every thoughtless nest, where birds are covered warm. They visit caves of every beast, to keep them all from harm. If they see any weeping, that should have been sleeping, they pour sleep on their head, and sit down by their bed. When wolves and tigers howl for prey, they pitying stand and weep, seeking to drive their thirst away, and keep them from the sheep. But if they rush dreadful, the angels most helpful receive each mild spirit, new worlds to inherit. And there the lion ruddy eyes shall flow with tears of gold, and pitying the tender cries, and walking round the fold, saying, wrath by his meekness, and by his health sickness, is driven away from our immortal day. And now beside thee, bleeding lamb, I can lie down and sleep, or think on him who bore thy name, graze after thee and weep. For washed in life's river, my bright mane forever shall shine like the gold, as I guard over the fold. And the illustrations for this, like the intro illustration really is very cool. It's kind of like this little willowy woodsy kind of earthy swaying in the wind. There's lots of movement, lots of it's not even a super colorful image, but it's just really powerful, paired with the typography, paired with just the framing of this particular image. Like, just reading it and seeing it at the same time was a huge pleasure. So I really felt affected by that one.
Well, and that's why I wanted to get an edition that had Blake's original artwork, is because he designed the poems into that artwork.
Yes.
So, to read this without the artwork just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, these poems were not just written, they were built.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think was so powerful about this, is it combines the imagery of the words along with the imagery of his artistic brain being put on the page. It's just such a pleasure to read and see simultaneously. I like the way that he did that. That was a very strong choice. And a very deeply intimate choice. Like, he just put his soul on the page for everybody in every form he knew.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute treasure of a piece of work. It really is.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest books ever, one of the greatest collections of poetry ever. It is such an incredibly thoughtful discussion of all of life from birth to death, taking us through the whole of life.
And even like a little into afterlife too, it touches on. So it's like this birth, death, birth again. kind of combination of things. It's just so well done and so ethereal. Everything felt ethereal when you're reading this. It's just a great piece of work. Loved it. So yeah, that's all I had to say. I can't stress enough how great this piece of work is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think it's a top tail.
It is a top tail.
This book's going on the list.
Absolutely is. It's a
2
beautiful.
for 2 this month.
Yeah. I mean, we are just trucking along. But we've had some great suggestions from people. We've had great encounters with literature. I think that's just...
Yes, and I'm going to kick myself because I didn't write down his whole name, but this was our friend Jimmy from he's in Scotland, I think, or UK, over in the British Isles.
That way.
He's been leaving a lot of great comments, and he had a couple of suggestions for us. One was Artemis Fowl, which already was on, and he asked us to read this, which prompted this reading and video. So thank you, Jimmy, and send more.
We love hearing suggestions. So if you guys ever have any pieces of poetry you want read, any books you want reviewed, we do actually listen to what you want to know about. So we'll do reviews on just about anything.
And we may not be as fast as this one to get to
We're only
review,
2 people trying to plow through great works of
I've
literature.
been trying to lighten the load on our list of reading to do up through this summer. So if you do make a suggestion, it may have to wait a little while till we get to it.
But let us know. We do try to pencil them in as much as we can. We even rearrange our schedules to try and prioritize our suggestions. So we do what we can to make sure you guys are seeing what you want to see. So let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us, and we listen to what you want to hear. So let us know.
All right.
Top 10.
And we'll see you again.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.